Steven! Mahalo. Is there anything more annoying than a guy that rubs it in while he's in Hawaii?
Oh. Yeah, I mean, if you give me a second, I could think of a few.
I'll give you time. But I never like being that guy because I've been on the other end of this where I was the producer while everybody was at Hawaii, while I was working at KMBR, and it's not fun. So I won't rub it in, but this is pretty awesome. This is a pretty awesome place.
Mm. Would you say Forgetting Sarah Marshall's the quintessential Hawaii motion picture?
I would say so. Like we've been riffing, like earlier in the show today, we were talking about what's the official fish of Hawaii. I can't pronounce it, but we all say like huma huma nukana nuna fish. Yeah, bitch.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
references Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and I get why so many movies are filmed here because this is a tropical paradise, and you get to
Mhm.
film a movie for a little bit of time during the day and go drink and be on the beach. I will say it's hard to manage time when you're the later show, and I'm the producer and hosting this show. And I know, like, woe is me, who gives a fuck? But to go do shit like and be knowledgeable of what's going on right now. Like I have no idea what happened in the Warriors game, and I'll watch it tomorrow morning, and I'll get the information, the stats. But it's hard to like go on the beach and then come back and prep and get ready for a 4 hour show of radio. That's why I rather trade with the morning show where like just get out of the way, just do it in the morning, and then have the rest of the day to go lay on the beach and go swim and do shit.
Derek, think of well, okay, here's I'll give you a quick synopsis, and this is something you can watch out for when you're watching the game tomorrow.
Okay.
What are the two things that Steve Kerr always talks about after a loss? There are two specific things he always talks about they need to improve on after a loss. Can you name those two things?
Lately,
Not
finishing
not lately, like just over the course of the last 3 years.
turnovers,
Turnovers being one.
rebounding.
No. This
Uh,
one's technically three words, but in one.
something that Steve Kerr always says. Just give it to me, and I'm gonna
The
hate myself. I
initials
don't know.
are DWF.
DWF. I don't know.
Defending without fouling.
Oh, defending without fouling.
The
Yeah,
old classic defending without
yeah,
fouling.
makes
Too many
sense. That's the
turnovers.
Warriors' mo. Yeah,
Yep, too many turnovers. They gave up 29 free throws tonight. And in the 14 turn, it wasn't even just like the amount of turnovers. It was the 18 turnovers, but also it was the points conceded off turnovers. Steph Curry looked like his usual self as he does in Orlando for whatever reason. He loves playing there. He's averaging
yep.
like 28 points per game in Orlando for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. I guess it's the magic out there. It's like the opposite of the Miami flu. Like Steph Curry just goes to Orlando and gets on fire. But it was
There's
not
nothing
just
to do there besides go to Disney World. So
the turnovers and defending without fouling, though. The lack of scoring from the bench. They didn't really get anything from Buddy Hield. They didn't really get much again from Al Horford offensively, and the Magic were just a bad matchup for a team that is, they've been on fire as of late. They've obviously won their last three and three of their last four, but it was against the lowly Pelicans and just Steph Curry just deflating the Spurs. But yeah, tonight it was just too much to overcome from Orlando, and they seem to be pretty hot themselves. So, yeah, I mean, there's not really much to write home about. Now they got a back-to-back Florida two-step, and they're going to Miami tomorrow.
yeah, and we know how they looked like in a Miami a year ago. Yeah, I mean, from what I'm looking at the box score here, it's Steph Curry, it's Jimmy Butler, and as I said the other day, like that's not sustainable where it's just those guys. And Moses Moody had an incredible game on Sunday night against the Pelicans, having 32 points, a career
Sure.
high, and 7 threes in a quarter. But tonight, just 6 points. Will Richard, just 6 points. No Kuminga, still injured. So, yeah, for order for them to be successful, they need more than just Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler giving you 30 to 30 to 30, 34 points to 33 points.
Mm-hmm.
Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa, I'm coming to you from Hawaii on a Tuesday. We'll react to week 11 in the NFL, talk about the Raider game, the Niner game, and the week that was. But yes, Stephen, just real quick, have you ever had a Frederico? while you were in Hawaii. And you were younger, right? When your family would come here.
Yeah, your mic cut out when you said that. Yeah, what?
A Federico. You ever had the drink of Federico?
Federico. That sounds like a court case.
Yeah, it does sound like that, but it's actually quite tasty.
What is?
So there's some pod juice and some whiskey. And what's the other ingredient? I forget the top of my head, but it's all mixed together. It's blended in this nice slushy drink. And I had about like 3 to 4 yesterday. And at one point, I was so drunk at the pool that I still had it in hand that I got from the bar. And I was just walking around the hotel with my glass of Federico. And I think it's still in my room. Yep, it's right over there, melting. The pineapple that's in the drink has all melted. So
wait.
drink.
Is this something from
rum?
a guy?
Yeah, rum.
Is this a drink from a guy called Frederico?
No, it's just a famous drink that I guess started here on the Mauna Kea Beach Hotel.
Yeah, okay. Hang on. I'm gonna open this.
Okay.
I'm looking at one right here.
Yeah, Ernie saved me here. It's rum, it's whiskey, and it's pod juice.
This thing.
Yeah. Frederico.
The Frederico.
Yeah, there you go.
From some guy named Fred.
Yeah, that's the beach bar that I've been going to. Yeah, some guy named Frederico made this. Yeah, I'm learning on the fly here. Yeah, that's what I've been drinking, and it's tasty as hell.
And he went to Stanford.
Oh, well, the Bay Area connection there. There you go.
Frederico by family and friends, which was my nickname at Stanford. Frederico. That's a chill guy. That's a trill person. If you're called Frederico at Stanford, you're the ultimate chill. It reminds me, I went to like Oregon recently, and the last time I went to Eugene, or the first time rather, I went to Eugene to visit my buddy. He was at first part of a fraternity.
Yeah.
Didn't last long, but he was at first part of a fraternity, and the leader of said fraternity, his nickname was literally Good Vibes.
And that's how you know he's
DJ at the parties. He would run the aux cord. His name was DJ Good Vibes. That's the vibe I'm getting from Frederico here.
Yeah, if you're hanging out with a dude named Frederico in college, he probably has great weed.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. That is the guy whose dorm always smelled like it. You always knew.
Stunt's coming in now. Damn it.
Trying to hide it from the RA. Dude, you can't even escape the sun in Hawaii.
I know.
Wait,
and I'm
the sun in Hawaii.
I'm missing out because it's been kind of gloomy here.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, for the most part, and today, and then the sun came out right when we're doing the show, and of course, it's off and on, and now the sun's starting to set, so I'm missing out. But I got 3 more days here, so I'll make the most of it and have to do this damn podcast. As Walter's telling me right now, go to the beach, Derek. Screw you, Walter. Focus on your own podcast.
I agree.
What, doing this dumb thing?
Yeah.
We'll go fast.
Why are we doing this podcast when you could be at the beach?
Because I told you I would.
Yeah, I know.
And look at all these people. They want us.
I'll tell you, last time I was at one of the last times I was at Hawaii, I just bought a 6-pack of 805s, I think.
Yeah.
At the local grocery store and went to the beach. It was night. So I was alone on the beach at night, just drinking this 6-pack, and I chugged it way too fast and just ended up throwing up a ton of beer just in the Hawaii beach. So a little remnants of Langford are away somewhere in the Pacific Ocean.
You think it's still there, that dried vomit?
Oh, I'm sure it is after 13 years.
All right. You're one with the ocean now.
Mm-hmm.
That actually sounds good, though. My view is actually pretty killer. Like last night, I laid on the couch on the patio out here and just watched a show, but it's like watching the waves. It's pretty awesome here. All right, I'll stop rubbing it in. Let's talk football. Steven, where do you want to start? Do I go with 49ers? Do you want to go with the Raiders from last night?
I'll go with 49ers to start.
Okay. And by the way, you lost in picks once again, so you got to do the hot sauce, and that's very convenient for me because I don't have any hot sauce in this room. So, Steven, before we get into the hot sauce, just your quick takeaways from the 49ers win over the Arizona Cardinals, 41-22.
I don't think there's anything more to take away other than what Brock Purdy did.
Yeah.
It's hard to evaluate a game where the opposing team picked up the weirdest records that I think I've seen in a while, where you reach a milestone of your quarterback hitting 47 completions, which is the most in league history, even though they only put up 22 points, and also had 17 penalties, 11 of them in the first half, which is the most in a game for any team since 2000. So it's hard to evaluate the actual game.
Yeah.
But as far as Brock Purdy, I thought that was the story of it. And my quick takeaway, really, again, not much to evaluate from this, but when you're seeing Kyle Shanahan or George Kittle or Christian McCaffrey say something to the effect of that was vintage Brock, and they kind of have to explain themselves what they mean. Well, to me, what vintage Brock means is a guy who makes what's arguably, maybe not even arguably, what is the most difficult position in sports in the quarterback. He made playing the quarterback against an NFL team. I don't care what defense you're playing. It's a really, really hard position to play. And it's one that he just made look easy. In his first game back, it was just smooth, just no problem, really, like unflappable, where it's just playing with full conviction. It's not like he looked against the Jaguars, just throwing in rhythm. Yeah, he did not throw for an earth-shattering amount of yards. He did throw only for 200, but I think he only had 7 incompletions. And his connection with George Kittle is still there, obviously, as shown by the touchdowns. But I think the one throw to me, and it's one, to be honest, I didn't watch this live. I ended up watching the condensed game because I had the baby shower going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. And I ended up watching the condensed.
No. Real quick, how did that go?
Got showered with gifts. We had friends and family there. What could be better?
All right, awesome. Sorry I couldn't be there, but
yeah, that's okay. Also, when I had this little game going on. We had games we were conducting, and I had the microphone in hand, but there was a 49ers game going on. It was 35-10. And they kept on making noise. The couple of dads or uncles or whoever was there.
Yeah.
And I said through the loudspeaker after a few beers, I was like, hey, easy. All right. Game's already over. There's no way the 49ers will lose it. You're fine. Anyway, that's how the baby shower went.
Well, Kyle Shanahan didn't feel the same way with going up for the 40-pointer in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left.
Before we get to your we'll get to that, but Brock Purdy made it look easy, and I think the one throw that kind of exemplified everything that he's about was that one throw to Jawan Jennings. It was the one I saw in the condensed game which really stuck out. It was one that was shared on social media where he's throwing a floater. It looks like this is a ball you'd consider probably a hospital ball or one that's going to be intercepted, but instead it goes right into the hands of Jawan Jennings, who makes a terrific catch, somehow manages to make it through the second and third level of the defense, and it was a first down. Keeping the team on the field on third down, just keeping drives alive. I thought Brock Purdy was the story of this game. And really, this is one that I don't even think it just put the whole Mac Jones quarterback controversy on the shelf. I think it put it in the trash can. I don't think there's any chance of that unless Purdy actually, gets hurt. I think this was a game that he really needed to have a performance like this to put any of that conversation to bed. And I really think he did.
No, he looked great. And I thought that he was going to be rusty, first game back since week 4, but he looked good out there. He didn't have to move a lot. He really didn't get a good test of his mobility right now with the toe, sure. But no, it was good. It was solid. 19-26 for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I thought the key difference in Brock Purdy being the quarterback as opposed to Mac Jones did a great job, but you see a little more explosiveness with the offense. And not to mention, there was one play in particular where it's a touchdown pass to George Kittle, the first one, where he's at the line of scrimmage and it's an I formation. And then they change it up where he goes can. And that's something that Mac Jones didn't do a lot, where he, changed the line of scrimmage. He just kind of did what Kyle told him to do. But that's
a really good point. I didn't even think about that too much with Jones playing. He rarely did call an audible, though. I feel like if he did call an audible, he'd giggle.
He probably would. He'd be like, "All right, guys, I'm changing the play here." But no, yeah, but I mean, like with Mac and you're the backup quarterback, like it's your first year under Kyle Shanahan, so you're just running what you're told. With Purdy, he's been there, done that. He knows the scheme very well. So
Yep.
he changes the play of the line of scrimmage. They go to a shotgun formation and throws the pass to George Kittle. And you just see, I know that Mac Jones played really well, but it's different with Brock Purdy. He brings something different to the offense. And I'm not going to say that this team now is going to score 30 points a game and that's how they're going to make the postseason. I do think they're a playoff team. I still have a lot of trepidation about their defense. I think that, in the end, they gave up 22 points, and Jacoby Brissett set a record for completions in a game and finished with 452 yards passing, something like that.
Mm.
I mean, yardage-wise, they gave up a shit ton of yards, the 49ers. But if you can establish a lead like that and every now and then get a little bit of pressure and cause more turnovers they did in that calendar year, like the 2 interceptions, the last time the Niners had 2 interceptions in a game was last October against the Dallas Cowboys. In a calendar year, they've had a total of 4 interceptions. They had one by Isaac Yiadom close to a year ago against the Seattle Seahawks. Then Diamador Lenore had a pick earlier this year against the Texans. They had 2 picks in this game. So the problem is still defensively. They don't have any pass rush, and you saw that Jacoby Brissett, later on in the game, it basically was because the Arizona Cardinals weren't disciplined. They had turnovers, they had penalties, and I thought that they could have made this more of a game had the Bam Knight touchdown stood. That was called back on the offensive holding. That drive that was continued on by a penalty by the 49ers where Trey McBride gets called for the unsportsmanlike conduct for the sniffing celebration after the first down. It could have been closer, but the game was about Brock Purdy and establishing confidence in him again and establishing confidence in this team when he's under center. And the truth is, like, whether it's Mac Jones, whether it's Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey makes this offense go. And with Brock Purdy back, I thought the running game was going better. Like, I think for the most part, Mac did a great job. But I think a lot of defenses played it like, okay, if we're going to lose, let's have Mac Jones beat us. We're going to stack the box, and we're going to have Christian McCaffrey just, get stoned at the line of scrimmage by all of our defensive linemen and linebackers. Yeah. And now, because the threat of Brock Purdy, now there's more play action fakes. Now they go down the field, and now there's open lanes for Christian McCaffrey to run the football. So, yeah, I mean, this is kind of not what we expected, but this is what we've been talking about with why you should go back to Brock Purdy. Mac Jones did a great job, a serviceable job, but he should not be the long-term starter or the starter for the remainder of the season if Brock Purdy is good enough to go. I understand if some people were like, I don't know about the toe. If he's not 100%, why would you play him? We saw that he's good enough to play and he could be effective. So I think they're a better football team, going forward with Brock Purdy under center.
Yeah, and I guess I understood what the hesitance was. I was kind of included in that, but I think we were all a little prisoners of the moment because we just didn't see Brock play since that game against the Jaguars. And you had a bunch with Mac Jones, a pretty large sample size where he was serviceable enough to where it felt like the 49ers are going to get to that same place that we think they're going to go, which is the postseason. I don't know how far they're going to get. Like it sucks that Tatum Bethune ended up getting hurt and he's got a high ankle sprain. He's out for the next few weeks. Don't know how that's going to impact him. Obviously the Eddie Pinheiro thing though, the fact that it's just like a grade 1, I don't anticipate him being out for more than a week, maybe these next 2 games. But he's got to be back for that Titans game against the Cardinals, I'd assume, on the 14th. So they can get by there, I think, without the kicker. I guess next week's a real test because the Panthers are a little bit better than everyone expected them to be. But it all comes down to the coin toss, I guess, since they're 6-0 when they win the coin toss and 0-5 when they lose it. I don't know if you saw that lovely little graphic that someone posted earlier where they're using like Microsoft Paint to create it.
I kind of saw that. So what is it when the Panthers win the coin toss, they win the game?
Yeah, they're 6-0 so far, but 0-5 when they lose the coin toss.
I mean, I'll also say that they're wildly inconsistent. Like they look great against Green Bay and then just shit the bed against the New Orleans Saints and then come back to beat the Atlanta Falcons in overtime last week. But yeah, dude, I mean, look, as long as they have Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy and George Kittle, they're going to be a good offense. But I don't know about a great offense. I think some people now expect them to score 30 to 40 points a game, and I don't think they're that type of offense. I think that they played a really bad team in the Arizona Cardinals. Now, on paper, I think that the Cardinals' defense is better than what was shown. But when you have, a kickoff return to start the game, and that's how you get offense going right away, and back to back weeks they've looked pretty bad defensively. But the Arizona Cardinals do have players. It's just that the Niners have better players. So
Yeah.
I don't anticipate the Niners putting up 30 points against the Panthers or the Cleveland Browns or who else is left on their schedule. The Colts, the Bears, the Seahawks. They could do enough to get into the postseason right now. They have 7 wins. I still think they're going to be a wild card team. It's just at the end of the day, yes, you mentioned it, Steven. With Tatum Bethune getting hurt, once again, you're down to your third string middle linebacker and Curtis Robinson, who's a great story, but I don't know how reliable he's going to be for the rest of the way, not to mention Nick Martin, who was out there and a third-round draft pick. You're down to, the third string guys for this defense. And I do wonder when the season's over how we'll look upon this season, like what could have been. Like I think that this season in ways is a little more disappointing than last year because it was established early that this team was not going to be a repeat of the Super Bowl team in 2023. Right. This team has given so many fans hope, but I've been asking listeners that traveled with us, do you really think this team's going to win the Super Bowl? And everybody's like, no. No. How could I? Because they don't have Nick Bosa. They don't have Fred Warner. In the end, you could have the best offense in the world. You could be the 16-0 New England Patriots. If you can't wrap up Eli Manning, you're going to lose. So in the end, that's why I think that the Niners' undoing will be their injuries. And that sucks because you can, go to sleep at night knowing that you lost because you were the lesser team. But if you have a great season, and you and I can relate to this with the 2016 Raiders, where like we've been through so many shitty seasons where the Raiders were 4-12 or 5-11, but the one that haunts me the most is 2016 because of what could have been had Derek Carr been healthy. So I think fans will wonder, okay, Brock Purdy came back and the offense was great. What would have it looked like had Nick Bosa and Fred Warner been healthy? Would this team had a chance to compete against the Eagles, the Lions, the Rams, the Seahawks, all those teams?
You always do. You always give them a chance when you got Hall of Famers all over the field on both sides of the ball. Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle are Hall of Famers. Fred Warner, I think, has already established himself as one. I think Nick Bosa, that might be a conversation for another day. Who's farther away from the Hall of Fame, Nick Bosa or Fred Warner, or are they both in? Who cares right now? You want to know but if we want to know what the head coach thinks about this defense, well, when they're up by 19 in the middle of the fourth quarter and he still keeps his first stringers there on the field because he feels like they need to score a touchdown, a la the Giants and Broncos from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Dude, what did you make of that?
Exactly what you're, saying right now, where he does not trust his defense whatsoever. And Kyle's going to be nice about it. And that's why I think they didn't make a move at the deadline because they're happy with this team for right now. But they know that in order to win consistently, they're going to have to score 40 points a game. And I don't think that's feasible. But I think without saying it to the media yesterday, Kyle was like, yeah, you never know in this league. Like I remember a game where we were up big by, however many points against the Detroit Lions. They came back and made that game close. Or a couple weeks ago when the Giants and Broncos are playing each other.
Or that one Super Bowl.
Yeah, or that one Super Bowl where we were up. But or the game where I was the offensive coordinator of the Super Bowl, 28-3. I think if Kyle was being truthful, and I mean, he's always truthful to an extent, but like if he was being 100% honest, he would say, guys, I get it. Like, do I want Christian McCaffrey to have to come into the game in the fourth quarter and score that touchdown? No, I'd rather pull these guys. I'd rather play with other, players and when the game's in hand. But I don't think any game's in hand with this defense. I can't rely on these guys. I'm playing with Tatum Bethune, and now I don't have him. So I understand why some fans are like, I don't know about bringing McCaffrey in the fourth quarter when it's 3 minutes left to score a touchdown to go up 41-16, and you have to go for 2 because Eddie Pinheiro is hurt. But in Kyle's mind, I'm taking no risks. I can't rely on this defense. I could only ask so much from Robert Saleh at this point, so I'm going to put up as many points as possible, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
But you are taking a risk, though. You are risking injury. Like his ass got saved. And by the way, speculation. Okay, this is just an observation, speculation, sensation. I've listened to pretty much every day after the game conference call that Shanahan's had this season.
They're always awkward, aren't they?
Huh?
They're always awkward, aren't they?
They are. This one, I think he had himself some fun in Arizona.
Oh, I said the same thing, my friend. Kyle was hungover.
He sounded under the weather, even though he's not sick. He sounded like he just wanted to get out of whatever they were asking. You could tell We've seen it. We've seen it. We've seen the way that he looks in Vegas, and there's no problem with it. It's like it's no problem. Like you're a professional head coach of one of the most famous organizations globally in the world. Like that's totally fine if you want to have yourself a nice little Sunday, for lack of a better term, nightcap after the Cardinals, after you ended up stumping the Cardinals. Like you had fun. That's fine. Like no judgment here. I'm just saying it's not hard to tell during the conference call after listening to every single one, where most of them fairly clear. This one sounded like he was a little sick. Maybe get yourself some grease, and some Advil. Yeah. Get that headache. Get that headache out the way. Get yourself some coffee. But also, I do think there was a risk there, and I commend Kyle Shanahan. He was two versions of Randy Marsh from South Park. He was the one who stuck his balls in the microwave and was carrying them around with a wheelbarrow. Takes big cojones to do what he did to put his starters out there with just a few minutes left, even though they were down by 19 points. And he was also the same, like, hey, my team has been ravaged by injuries. I don't even care. I am not losing this game. And he was the version of Randy Marsh who was fighting Bat Dad. I ain't hearing no bell. Like it was, when I saw, I'm like, oh my God, Kyle. And then I see what was the term that he used to cover your butts?
Cover your ass. Yeah.
Well, he said cover your butts. He said butts.
You sure? I'm pretty sure I heard him say ass.
Did he say ass? I thought he said butts.
I'm pretty sure he said cover your ass because he was asked about that later on. He was like, I mean, it's probably not the best term to use because I don't have a vast vocabulary, but yeah, I mean, that's what it is. The talking point the next day would have been, well, Christian McCaffrey got hurt because Kyle was trying to run up the score, but he's not trying to run up the score. He's trying to just get a victory for Christ's sake because he cannot rely on this defense. No, I mean, I get it. It's not a conversation until it becomes a thing. Like I remember, everybody does too. A couple weeks ago with Jada Daniels, and I get it. You were down in that game, but it's a point of pride thing. With Kyle, it's like it's a big risk to keep Christian McCaffrey in that game. And I think a lot of people keep bringing up his usage, and I have been guilty of that too. Right? I think you can mix it up every now and then with a little bit more of Brian Robinson. But if Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey, he's doing all these incredible things on the ground and through the air, they keep doing it. I was skeptical about him going into this season, about his health and his age, but he's shown he's not slowing down anytime soon. He is the best running back of football. Like Saquon Barkley had that title a year ago, but he does not affect the passing game nearly as much as McCaffrey does, or Derrick Henry. Jahmyr Gibbs is a close second in my opinion right now, but the way as long as he's healthy, this offense is going to thrive. So I understand the risk involved, but also I could take no chances with this defense right now.
I got to get the term running back out of my head. Like that's a me problem with not thinking Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in football, because running the football, he's been subpar, to be honest. Okay, he gets the football a lot and he doesn't get hurt and he gets yards, but he doesn't get those big time explosive plays anymore running the football. But he
finally did this game though. First 20-yard run this season.
About time. But he only got 80 yards to show for it on 13 carries. Like he doesn't have the same effectiveness as a runner, but overall as a player, like he is as valuable as any running back is to their team, just based on how much he is running and catching the football. But I got to get it out of my head. It's a me thing. Whenever I hear best running back, like I don't even think Christian McCaffrey when I hear best running back. Like I think best running back, I automatically go to Jonathan Taylor. I think he's the best running back in football right now.
Different, but yeah, I hear you.
Along with that offensive line. Like there's got to be another definition for what we call McCaffrey right now, because he is a Swiss Army knife, the jack of all trades, all those cliches that you could think of. I could be a little more creative than that, but I'm not being that. So that's my bad. Sorry, Christian. Don't kill me. Anyway, yeah, the team goes the way that the team goes as far as Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey are going to take them. And as long as they limit the turnovers, then they're all good. That's another thing with McCaffrey. How many fumbles does he have this year? Does he have any?
No, I don't think so.
He doesn't have one. That's insane, man.
Well, I mean, some of the best in football don't have a season where they fumble the entire year.
Still crazy though. Like he's getting usage at a historic rate.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Like
Yeah.
historically, to the point where we're not even talking about him running. It's all about scrimmage yards and touches when we talk about evaluating Christian McCaffrey. It's no longer rushes or carries.
Well, I don't think it ever was because he's a different type of running back where, yes, the more traditional, like if you're saying who's the best running back in football right now, I guess you would have to say Jonathan Taylor with the season he's having. Absolutely. But I think Christian McCaffrey just does more. It's
Right.
different. He is a wide receiver playing running back. It's
Right.
insane what he does. So as long as they have him, they will be good. But yes, I hear you. And I hear some fans being like, I don't know about playing him that late into the game. But Kyle's a different type of cat, man. He's maniacal. He wants to get wins at this point. You have to get wins however you can, whatever the cost is. And if that includes playing Christian McCaffrey in the last 4 minutes of a game where you're up by 19, he'll take that risk because he wants to solidify the victory. And also, yes, Stephen, 100% Kyle Shanahan was hungover. I heard that same teleconference. It's a short flight back from Arizona, and we're not talking to him till Friday. It's a Monday night game. He doesn't have to speak to the media until Thursday this week, so he got after it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we called when Debo was here, we called him a wide back. So what do we call Christian then? Do we go
a white back? I had to. Yeah.
Sneaky athletic.
Yeah. I'm guilty of saying
first to show up, last to leave guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Work ethic.
I'm guilty of calling him a Swiss Army knife because that's what he is. Like he's every cliche you want to use. Like he's a satellite back. Like since the likes of Marshall Faulk, I don't think anybody's impacted the game as far as a receiving running back like Christian McCaffrey.
No, the numbers show it too. The numbers show it. The way that he led off the season with whatever it was, like 60 yards rushing and 60 yards receiving in the same game. And I think like he did that 8 straight times, which was broke Marshall Faulk's record. So the numbers speak for that too. It's not just hyperbole when you mention that. I think run receiver. Nah, that sounds weird. Wide back just slips. You need like one syllable each, or it needs to be one word, 2 syllables. It can't just be run receiver. Run rec.
What about receiver back? Receiver back.
Receiver back. No, but he's not a receiver first. He's a running back first.
Yeah, but you're blending both of them, and running back's got an R. So yeah, receiver back.
Receiver back.
I kind of like that. I'm coining that phrase. You and me.
Feel free. Receiver back. I'm in.
Feel free.
Receiver back.
Yeah. All right, everybody, get on this. Receiver back. Let's start again.
And then you ask him the question, what do you think of that nickname receiver back? No, it's like I say all the time. It's the best team sport in the world. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm just doing my job. 11-on-11 football. Tough, physical.
Yeah. He'd be like, you can call me whatever you want. As long as I'm in the end zone, I'm celebrating with my teammates. I don't give a damn what you call me. All right.
World.
Let's move over to the Raiders. And before we do that, Steven, you want to hit the hot sauce?
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the Raiders. Before that, let's just put myself in agony. All right, cool.
Seems fitting. I'll go first. I was watching this game at the bar, and in Hawaii, I asked the bartender, who are the biggest teams? And he said first 49ers, and then Raiders are a close second. And the guy I was talking to was a Raiders fan. He was like, dude, why can't this team ever improve? Like every offseason, it's the same where we think we're going in the right direction. A couple of years ago, getting Devontae Adams, and that team looks good. Then this year, you think Pete Carroll is going to change the culture, and they get Geno Smith. And it's like, yeah, dude, it never changes. And just watching this game, like, goddamn. Like, I know they look competitive the last few weeks, almost beating the Jacksonville Jaguars and having that putrid game against the Denver Broncos where they only score 7 points on the second drive, and they did nothing offensively. You think if they only did a little bit more, they would have got a victory. But last night was hard to watch just because, I mean, the Dallas Cowboys offense is really good, but their defense is not as good as it looked last night. And maybe it's the addition of Quinn Williams where things are changing for them on the defensive front, but how inept the Raiders looked. Like, why is it still so continuously bad? And I have to blame Chip Kelly for the amount of carries Ashton Genty got. 7 carries for 6 yards. That's ridiculous. I don't care what you see on tape. To wait until, I don't know when he got his first carry, but like Yes, the Dallas Cowboys have a terrible pass defense, but to not use your first round draft pick, the guy that you think is supposed to be the next Marcus Allen or Bo Jackson, I just have a problem with that. And also, I do wonder about Ashton Genty sometimes. Like last night, I'm not going to say it's 100% on him because he got no offensive line blocking once again when they got that safety when he's in his own end zone, but you got to fight a little bit more, dude. Like, yes, he is a bulldoze and goes over guys and trucks through them, but I want a little more fight when you're in the end zone like that. And I know that he got no blocking on that play, but I don't know. I go back to, was this the right move? Was it the right move to get Ashton Genty? Was it the right move to hire Chip Kelly? Was it the right move to trade for Geno Smith? Was it the right move to make Pete Carroll your head coach? I mean, the answer right now is no. And I don't want to say like that's the end all be all where you need to just clean house next season and trade Geno or cut him because no one wants to take that on that contract. Fire Pete. But you thought it'd be better than this. 2-8 is just piss poor. It's the same thing. It's the same product as last year. I can't say that they've improved since Antonio Pierce, and you and I advocated for him being fired, but it's the same fucking thing. So
Right.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
All right. All right. Oh, that one worked. That one was really bad.
I bet.
Oh,
Go on.
great, grand, wonderful. The thing that struck me, man, last night, because all the things I agree with, but I'm trending towards this being one and done for both Carroll and Chip. I am. And the reason why, well, those numbers that you just mentioned, but the fact that Chip Carroll can't figure out how to
Chip Carroll or Chip Kelly
Chip
or
Carroll.
Pete Carroll?
No, we're
Carroll.
calling him Chip Carroll.
Okay.
Chip Carroll. That's the name for both of them. They're a package deal.
They're the brainchild when they're fused
Mhm.
together.
Yeah. Chip Carroll don't know how to point points on the board. Chip Carroll doesn't know how to motivate their team. I'm actually trying to pull up Ari Mayroff. I think he had something with the Raiders earlier. All right. Hang on.
Yeah, while you're doing that, hold on. Chat right now. Are you motherfuckers actually questioning the amount of drops I put on my chip when I do the hot sauce challenge? How dare you? How dare all of you right now? Eat me. All right? I've been doing this challenge for what, 4 years now? I always put a good amount on there. Screw all of you.
Okay. So what am I supposed to say? The thing that struck me is it's the same shit we've been talking about for the last, really since the Commanders game. And Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, they were taken a little bit by surprise going into the second half last night when Pete Carroll said he was surprised by their lack of competitive fire and the fact that he would perform differently. They would perform differently against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman mentioned that they've had no reason to pay attention to the Raiders in the past year. This is like the 8th time he said he's surprised by a certain outcome. How many more times can an NFL head coach say they're surprised before we say, you know what, I don't think this is the right fit? Hey, that's awesome. You wrestled Adam Butler to the ground while he was working out, Pete. Wow, that's going to put some wins on the board. How embarrassing. Like, I love that, but how embarrassing does it look when you're performing the way that you are? Like, that just looks awful. Like, stop wrestling your players and get them to compete. Because he's saying he's surprised. The first half, like the sideline reports, we've talked about how we don't really get too much value out of the sideline reports, but I thought last night's were extremely telling. The first one being Max Crosby after, was it George Pickens? The George Pickens touchdown? I think it was the George Pickens touchdown.
Oh, dude, that touchdown was so like, let me go out of bounds, and then I'm going up the field now, and everybody's like, oh, where the hell did he go? Like,
So
Jesus
lame.
Christ.
And Max Crosby's throwing his helmet to the ground. Like, where the fuck are you guys?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, everyone keeps saying going up to the trade deadline that Max wants out of there. I beg to differ. Max seems to be the only guy who actually wants to play. Same with Brock Bowers. It's so sad that you're wasting them with what they're doing right now. Brock Bowers can be an all-time great tight end. Max Crosby can be an all-time great edge rusher. But right now, the team that they put around him is sad. Geno Smith is terrible. He keeps holding on to the ball for way too long. He can't escape any pressure. It's like the amount of times they were in second and long and then third and long last night, proceeded to get sacked. Like, it was so frustrating to watch. I couldn't after the third quarter. I was done. By the time I got to the fourth quarter, I said, all right, you know what? Let's put on Taskmaster. I need to cheer myself up a bit. I just had a baby shower, celebrated with friends and family. Nothing to bring you down from a weekend like watching some Raiders football.
Yeah.
You know, it's just such a pathetic excuse for what they were propping up early on in the season, which was, we're back. We're establishing a culture. And you can get to your thoughts here, but I also got a bunch of stuff from Ari Meirov about kind of the big picture for this team.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. We can get into it right now. It's fine.
No. Go ahead.
So Tristan Kuhn, I think he covers the Raiders. I don't know. I see him tweeting out about the draft all the time. I don't really follow him.
Yeah.
Per Ari Meirov, the Raiders front office is safe. The Raiders want to build the front office the right way and similar structures to the Eagles, Lions, Rams, and the front office is widely regarded as being deep with talent. And it seems they are not aligned with the coaching staff. They wanted to give undrafted free agents and rookies a chance over veterans. Carroll didn't want to rebuild, which resulted in those players being benched or cut. Amari Cooper, Adams, Lockett, Forsythe, Johnson, Fotu, and being 2-8, it won't work. Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll are no doubt on the hot seat. Raiders don't look competitive as Pete seemed they could be. Front office and staff are on completely different trajectories. Some change will occur, just how drastic that change is. There's a world where Pete Carroll steps down. Pete Carroll did not want to trade Jacoby Myers. The front office decided to anyway.
Yeah, I wondered about the arranged marriage of this whole thing, where we knew that John Spytek was going to be the GM. I actually don't know the timing of. Yeah, was John Spytek announced before Pete Carroll? Whatever the timing was, I never liked those situations, and even the press
Pete Carroll
conference.
and then Spytek.
Okay, but are you sure about that? Because I remember they announced Spytek. Maybe, yeah. You know what? Okay, you're right about that. Because
easy there, Tim Robinson. Let me check. Are you sure about that?
But when it comes to, like, I remember that press conference when it was the two of them, and I remember how we commented, like, Pete was like, after everything John Spytek said, and there's a big age difference where Pete's in his 70s and John Spytek's in his early 40s, and after Spytek would say something, he was like, "Oh, good job, buddy." Like, I wonder if they built this roster just based off what Pete wanted, because it felt like the defense was built with, like, chewing wire and bubble gum, where it's like, all right, let me get a bunch of rookies and older vets that are past their prime, and like Jamal Adams and Devin White, and then we have 2 rookie corners, and just not a lot of great players. And I wonder if it's just too soon for the guys that John Spytek drafted. Like, think about the offense right now. It's Trey Tucker's your big playmaker, and Dante Thornton and Jack Besh just can't get on the field because they don't know what to do. It's a mix of trying to do quick fixes, but also relying on rookies. And in hindsight, that's not going to work. I don't know why I thought this team was going to win 10 games, because I was buying into Pete Carroll, because I was buying into Geno Smith, because I was buying into Ashton Genty. But everything you just said that Ari Meirov's reporting makes sense to me. So if the front office and the head coach are not aligned, then this is easy. They're going to move off of Pete Carroll. And that's sad, because I don't want that to be how Pete Carroll's head coaching career ends, where I didn't like when we were going through all the coaches that were fired a year ago. It was Belichick and Pete Carroll, and we were talking about, would these guys ever coach again? And I thought that Belichick would in the NFL. Now it's clear he doesn't want to. He released a statement. Maybe he would be in consideration for the Giants job, given his history with that organization. But he was like, nope, I'm happy with North Carolina. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not interviewing for any NFL job. So he's comfortable in North Carolina. Pete Carroll wanted to go back in the NFL, and I didn't think any team would give him another shot, because the Seahawks basically fired him for being too old. They thought that he was past his prime, and they needed a younger coach in there. And I kind of agree right now where Pete Carroll, I see all the memes, but it is true. He's kind of Joe Biden-y when he goes to these press conferences. He's like, oh man, I was shocked by this game. It's like, Pete, why? Why are you shocked? Why are you shocked, man? You're 73 years old. You've been in this league for a long time. Anything can happen in a fucking NFL game. Why are you shocked? This team is 2-8. Nothing should shock you at this point. And yeah, it's just the offense is not improving. They're getting worse. The offensive line is terrible. I wonder, like, did Pete literally just say in meetings, like, I want Ashton Genty? And I'm sure everybody's like, yeah, we could get a defensive lineman. We could get an offensive lineman. And Pete's like, no, man, I need a Marshawn Lynch. It's like, just because he played well in college, yes, he was a great prospect, the best running back prospect we've seen in quite some time. But you can't expect him to be this amazing guy with no offensive line. Now, is he an Adrian Peterson?
Spy Tech did bring up that whole thing with his son, right? Like,
yes.
The Ashton Genty, like he really wants us to draft Genty. So I would think that was a mutually agreed upon decision.
Yeah, but just because he also said at the same time, there's certain positions that you can, get in the later rounds where you get a great player. And that was my mindset, was like, just get something safe, get a corner, get an offensive lineman, get a defensive lineman even, just so like, like, and who's to say? Like, we never know in the draft. Like, they drafted Trey Wilson years ago, and it's hit or miss with him sometimes. But those positions are more bankable in the first round. Where a running back, you can get them in the second round, you get them in the third round. So I'm not saying that Ashton Genty's a bad player by any means, and I'm not trying to sound like Ryan Clark either. I just don't know if he's an amazing player to draft 5th overall. That's my thing. And also, Chip Kelly just is not the right fit for this team. His game plans, again, it's also personnel. But what is the game plan there? To throw 50 times in this game? You can run a little bit here, mix it up with a little run and pass. So I don't know, dude.
I think it's fully on the offensive line, really. I don't think we'll know. I think Genty's shown enough potential where if he has some competent blocking, that he can actually get some yards for you. So I'm still in on the Genty hype. I really am. I think he's got a lot of skill. He reminds me. There's some runs where he does remind me of Josh Jacobs a bit, just with how powerful his legs can be. By the way, Macklin Celebrini scored 2 goals within the first 6 minutes of this game against Utah.
Did you know?
So he's already like on the verge of a hat trick, and we're not even 13 minutes. We have 13 minutes left in the first period. That's kind of remarkable. But the offensive line is an issue, and I think it's the biggest one. Selecting Genty was probably a mistake. They shouldn't have. It just wasn't the right time. But I'm also not convinced that whoever they would have selected would have played up to his full potential. For whatever reason, when anyone goes to the Raiders, they are cursed. It's like the Black Pearl.
Yeah, which is fitting with the Pirates.
They're cursed by Cortez himself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and last night I saw Bonte tweet out, like, at this point, you have more to be hopeful with, or like, it's better to root for the Cleveland Browns and the Raiders right now. And I was like, slow your roll, buddy. But also, he's not wrong, because there is stuff to root for with the Cleveland Browns. There's stuff to look forward to down the line. That defense is legit. And Myles Garrett's a Hall of Famer. Now, there is stuff to look upon with the Raiders and Brock Bowers and Max Crosby. But, like, besides that, what is there to look forward to? I mean, there's Genty as well. But besides that, like, what's there to be hopeful for?
What do you have that the teams around you in the standings, what do you have that the teams around you in the standings don't? Not a lot. The New York Jets have a shit ton of draft picks moving forward and can really start the rebuild here. The Browns are the Browns. I really don't know what the Bengals have 3 wins, but they also have Joe Burrow. The Titans, they got 1 win, but they're clearly rebuilding, and they seem to have a quarterback of the future at the current time. The New York Giants seem to have a future as well. I think there might be something still left to be desired with Jackson Dart. He looks pretty good in his rookie season, but we need to see him again do it in his second year, because he was just taking way too many sacks and they were drawing up way too many design runs. With the new coaching staff, who knows what he's going to look like. But they already fired their coach, so there's that. The New Orleans Saints, that might be on par with the Raiders. Like, I don't know what the Saints have to look forward to. I think that's a pretty comparable team right now, because they just don't have much. The Raiders have more in terms of talent, I think, but as far as like the future goes, I think they're kind of in the same boat there. The Cardinals might be worse off too, because I don't know where to go with the Cardinals either.
I would say that all of those teams that you just mentioned, the Browns, the Saints, the Jets, they know that their long-term success is predicated on finding a quarterback. And
Sure.
the Raiders try to do a quick fix. And I was in on the Geno Smith move because at the end of the day, it's only a third-round pick. So you take that. You also sign him to that contract. But we talked about it. Like Geno could be great or he could be terrible. And right now it's been terrible. Like he was really good with the Seahawks because he had great wide receivers. I've brought it up numerous times this season. He's playing with a great tight end, but he was injured for the most part. You're playing with Trey Tucker, who's, explosive player, but he should be like your third wide receiver. Shouldn't be your go-to guy. You're relying on Jack Besh and Dante Thornton, and they just don't have a lot of playmakers on offense. So instead of just trying to do like a quick fix, they need to go all in on finding a quarterback this draft. They need to find their guy. And I know that the mentality of Tom Brady is I want to compete every single season. You can't right now. The truth is you are far, far behind the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Chargers. And you thought that you could just snap your fingers in one offseason and change the whole thing by getting Pete Carroll, getting another experienced coach to, go up against the likes of Jim Harbaugh and Super Bowl winning coaches and Andy Reid and Sean Payton. But the truth is Pete Carroll is just past his prime, and you just can't have a quick fix like that. Getting Geno Smith is not going to put you in the same category as the other teams. I thought that Pete Carroll would have the same effect on this team like a Mike Vrabel. It is not the case. So everything that you just said, I didn't know that about Artie Maroff. It's not surprising to me that the front office and the coaching staff are on two different wavelengths here. So I don't know what to expect at this point. I am thoroughly disappointed when you and I talked all season last year about how Antonio Pierce is not a good coach. You have to move on from him. Pete Carroll is going to make this a better team. It's not the case right now. And for how many issues that this team had a year ago, like we acted like, 4-13, and then getting a running back in the first round, no problem. At least I did. 10 wins, perfect. They are far behind. So, yeah, I don't even know what to say anymore. It just sucks. It sucks that, and I'm not going to act like I'm as invested as I used to be, but we talk about this team every week on this podcast, and I try to give hope to Raider fans that this team is improving, and I can't anymore. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, right now everyone's on an apology tour to Derek Carr, which I find to be one of the funnier trends happening on social media. I saw
seriously. Don't you wish you had him now, for Christ's sake? Good Lord.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Come on, Steve. Compared to Geno.
No, I don't. I think he'd be producing almost the same output as Geno.
Oh,
I really
stop.
do.
Come on,
I really
dude.
do.
What are you talking about?
I really do. At this point in their careers, I really do.
Just because you didn't like him.
I liked him just fine.
But you think that Derek Carr was as bad as Geno Smith? Come on, dude. In the last, 5 seasons, who's played better than Derek Carr as far as quarterback play for the Raiders? And I know that's like not a good sample size when you have Jimmy Garoppolo and Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell and Geno Smith, but like they'd be better with him right now. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how much he'd be on the field either. I think he would have gotten crushed by this Raiders offensive line. At least Geno's stay out there.
Yeah.
But, and also, like I'm seeing someone went viral, not really, but a lot of reposts and a lot of views because Trey Wingo, everyone who has it out for the Raiders was on it. Like Jeff Schwartz was just who hates him because he played for the Chiefs at one point, or his brother played for the Chiefs for a long time.
Yeah, Mitchell Schwartz.
He can't stand the Raiders, so he takes a chance to pounce on them any way they can. He's like, this will take years to rebuild. Trey Wingo saying this is a truly horrible organization, and someone replying, they should have stayed at Oakland. And then they posted a picture of C.O. Moore jumping in the black hole. Do you know how bad the Raiders were when C.O. Moore was patrolling middle linebacker or outside linebacker?
I know, but I miss those days, man. I miss those days. It's better.
I do.
C.O. Moore got in trouble with was it C.O. Moore or Ray Armstrong that got in trouble with the dog? Remember that?
What dog?
It was a game where Ray Armstrong was like trying to intimidate a police dog, and the dog barked back at him, and the police officer was like, you're intimidating a police officer right now, and he was cited for that. It was like a whole thing.
Good Lord, I don't remember that. Skills is right. At least Carr would have had the right attitude and all of his teammates respect. Yeah, I'll say this. Gino, beyond just the play on the field, Gino's body language is horrible.
Yeah,
And
can we play the clip of him in the post game real quick?
yeah, let me pull it up.
I didn't like this. I mean, like I get it, he's frustrated, but to have this mentality as a quarterback, like I've seen people have shitty seasons and they conduct themselves a little bit better in press conferences. This was a little too woe is me, where yeah, with Gino, like blame everything on me, guys.
I keep saying this, man. If something don't look right out there, blame it on me, right? If it don't look right, blame it on me. That's all you can do. Blame it on me. If your kids mess up at school, blame it on me. Car breakdown going to work, blame it on me. I keep saying.
Now, is he being tongue in cheek there? Is he like being like a little like, oh, point the finger at me, guys, because this offense sucks, so it's my fault as the quarterback?
I think so. Just look at it again. Look at the body language, dude.
Yeah.
That's all you need to look at. This guy has no confidence. The team has no confidence. That's the worst part about this whole thing is not only does the rest of the NFL, everyone who still posts on Twitter, everyone who goes on social media and contributes to all of that, everyone knows the Raiders suck, but more importantly, all the players seem to know they suck too.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not even trying. Like the Pete Carroll experiment with Caillou Blue Kelly. We talked about it a little bit. He got a couple of interceptions. So it's like, oh, okay, everything's okay. But nope. Whoever this Caillou Blue Kelly is, he decided to start him over Darian Porter, a third-round pick, just one of the 3 third-round picks who they aren't playing at all this season. Like he gave up, I don't even know the numbers, but George Pickens was eating his lunch. Yeah. You gonna eat your cornbread?
I mean, and that's understandable when you're going up against a wide receiver tandem like CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens.
They're really good.
No, they're really good, but you feel like I know the offense has been terrible, but like that Dallas defense sucks.
Yeah.
And you couldn't score more than 20 points. It's not even about losing the games at this point. Like I understand that the Raiders are going to lose games, but not even to be competitive. In the last 2 weeks they were. And it sucks that they lost in overtime to the Jaguars and could have put up more offense against the Broncos. But just the lack of competitiveness. Mm-hmm. And I thought that would change drastically with Pete Carroll. And if it isn't, and you have a 73-year-old coach and you're wondering how long he's going to be here, it makes no sense to continue on, which I hate to say that. But if this is how it's going to be, Pete doesn't have time to rebuild here. So you might as well get a younger coach that has the time to do that.
Yeah, I don't know who that is either. And it seems like every coach is flourishing right now. I talk about him every week because I always read every
Ben Johnson.
Solak. But he was ranking the best head coaching hires, and it was just going down the list of guys the Raiders could have had, but they didn't. It's just like, what the hell
is he including Ben Johnson in that conversation?
Yeah.
I mean, they wanted him. I mean, I will give Brady credit in that regard. He wanted Ben Johnson. And Ben Johnson was like, dude, what quarterback do I have to work with here?
Right.
Like Ben Johnson would have been fantastic for the Raiders right now. But who's the quarterback?
Right.
They're always up Schitt's Creek. And maybe this is the best season in recent years because maybe they'll be bad enough where they can finally draft the top quarterback prospect. But honestly, who is it this year? Because I'm not impressed with anybody. Maybe it's Fernando Mendoza, but I don't even know about him right now. I need to study up on him, but I have my doubts when you play in Indiana. But Indiana is really good this year, so I don't know. I don't know.
I told you, dude, whoever they draft is just not going to work out. It's the curse. It's the curse of the Black Pearl.
I can't even blame it on Mark Davis because I know you brought that up a couple weeks ago. I can't blame it on him. I think they made all the right moves in theory, but it's just not working out. It's just not working out.
Well, I think we can all blame the move to Vegas on him though. And
well, of course,
Oakland, but I think there's always going to be that. But right now that I'm not even thinking about him, even though they showed that view of him in the suite when he was talking to, who was that? Santana's wife, Santana's daughter, whoever it was, who played the national anthem to kick off the game. And God, they're embarrassing themselves in front of my man, Carlos Sainz, Formula One driver, who was sitting in Mark Davis's suite. Lando Norris was there too. They're there to promote the Grand Prix coming up in Vegas, which apparently the residents of Vegas hate. That's according to every single Uber driver I've taken in Vegas since Formula One became a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I How am I supposed to buy into this? Derek, I got 3 hours of sleep last night because I was just thinking about how the hell I'm going to talk about this team on the podcast tomorrow. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, I had thoughts running through my head. I was questioning my own identity. Luckily, I had this baby shower where it's like, hey, I'm going to become a dad. At least I got that going for me. I got a beautiful wife. I got a great life. I got a great home. But this Raiders thing is making me question my entire decision.
I'm sorry I'm affecting your sleep, man, but like
It's not you. It's not you. It's this damn team. I'm like, why am I? What could I have been? I could have been well read.
I could have been I could have been somebody. Instead, I was wasting my time going to the Coliseum watching this fucking team.
This has me going on the waterfront, like just I could have been somebody.
Yeah.
If I wasn't reading Comcast Sportsnet.
I could have been a contender. I could have been rooting for a contender.
If I wasn't reading Scott Bear on csnbayarea.com/Raiders and
the Bear Necessities, my man.
Levi Damien on Silver and Black Pride.
Levi Damien.
Wow, that's a
name. That's a name. Well, I'm sorry you're only getting 3 hours of sleep, not because you're thinking about having a baby or you're fucking asshole of a next door neighbor that doesn't like that your Amazon packages are getting delivered to him.
Listen, man, that's water under the bridge. We're okay now. I saw him going out for a walk. I said hello.
Nice.
He waved back. We're all
good.
And it was only the 3 hours of sleep last night. The nights before I got 18 hours total in the last 2 nights, which is big. I'm normally like 6 to 7 hours type of guy per day. But yeah, this Raiders team has me rethinking just my entire my whole fandom. But you know what? Like, we'll get through it. It's not that serious. Like with anything in life, just keep on pushing, man. And saying that with the pregnancy. And one day, that juice is going to be tasted. Wrong word to use with the pregnancy. That sweet nectar is just going to taste so sweet if they would. Moving on.
All right. Anyway, now I'm questioning my potential baby gift I'm gonna give to you and to Jesse. That's a whole other story.
And we also talk about the juxtaposition. This is not a laughing matter, right? This part's not a laughing matter. But what the Cowboys have had to deal with these last 2 weeks over the death of a second-year defensive lineman, the tragic suicide that happened just over 2 weeks ago, and going with that, knowing that they're performing with him, having his jersey with, on the clothes hanger, just hanging up behind the bench for everyone to see, his number 94 jersey, seeing George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb get sat the first drive of the game, the first possession, and then they both go and score. And then you see that little replay on the sideline with Brian Schottenheimer and Troy Aikman showing a little personality on Monday Night Football for the first time ever, where it's like, I'm just kidding, you guys. It's fine. We're all good. And everyone's laughing. Like the juxtaposition of those two teams, where the Cowboys are at, having dealt with what they were dealing with and performing the way that they did. Whereas the Raiders, it's like, it just feels so dismal and dreadful and miserable within the organization when the Cowboys had every right to feel that way. They have every right to feel that way. And it's not to say like no team, other teams don't have the right to feel that way as well. But the fact that there's this one team cheering on the sideline, kind of playing for something where it seemed like the Raiders just didn't have anything to play for. Though I'll say this, a very classy move by the organization. At least we're wearing the pregame shirts with the call audible and 988 on the back. I commend the Raiders for that. But just the contrast with those two, it was glaring last night.
Definitely. And I think a lot of people are saying now that the Dallas Cowboys' problems are not related to Brian Schottenheimer. He actually is a pretty good offensive play caller and could be a good head coach. But yeah, they were playing for something last night, playing for remembering their lost teammate and Marshawn Nealon. So yeah, but at the same time, you want the Raiders to have a little more fight than they showed last night. And it's just two teams going in different directions. Like with the Cowboys, they're hopeful for the future. They got Quinnen Williams. They got to build up that defense, and they'll be a better team. They'll probably be in the postseason a year from now. With the Raiders, I have no idea what their timeline is. It can't be a quick fix. They have to start from ground zero once again. All right, let's do some quick hits quickly here. And I'll just ask some questions about Week 11, just to do generic stuff.
Can I be? I forgot to mention this to you.
Go ahead.
I didn't watch a lot of Week 11, so I'm not going to
That's
have.
fine.
I'm not
No,
going to have
that's fine.
any great quick opinions except for Spitgate and the Chiefs losing. But other than that,
Yeah, I figured. I mean, I'm in Hawaii anyway, and we can make this quick. So, let's start with that. The Steelers and Bengals game, 34-12. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt in that game with a broken wrist, but the defense comes through. The big thing from this game was Jalen Ramsey was ejected for punching Jamar Chase, and then afterwards, everybody was like, "Why did you punch him?" And he's like, "Well, he spit on me." And then they asked Jamar Chase. He goes, "I didn't do that." And we see the video evidence, like the Zapruder film. He spit on him. It's there, just like we saw Jalen Carter spit on Dak Prescott. And Jamar Chase's defense is, well, if I spit on him, wouldn't his face be covered in spit? Well, no. You're wearing a helmet, and you spit on his chest. So the appeal was denied. He's going to be suspended.
That's so funny.
It's so stupid too. Wouldn't his face be covered in spit? No, Jamar. It's where the spit was projected. So it went to his fucking chest, on his face. So I'll ask you, Steven, how should you react when someone spits on your face or spits on you in general?
I think the same way that Jalen Ramsey would react.
Yeah, dude.
I think.
Yeah, I had no issue with that. I remember years ago, like 20 years ago, there was a playoff game between the Buccaneers and Redskins, and Michael Pittman slapped the late great Sean Taylor in the face, and they threw a flag on Sean Taylor. And everybody in the broadcast booth is like, "What the hell is that about?" And Mike Carey was the referee. I remember him being mic'd up, and we later found out that Sean Taylor spit on Michael Pittman, and Mike Carey was like, "If someone spit on you, wouldn't you react the same way?" So I think that, not that Jalen Ramsey should be fined by any means. If he is, that's bullshit. You should be able to react that way when someone spits on you. That's bullshit. Real quick, the Bills beat up on the Buccaneers 44 to whatever the final was. The Buccaneers, like, I think at this point, 44-32. I think at this point they're your fourth team in the NFC. I don't think we'll see this weekend when they play the Rams. I don't think they're going to be better than that. I think they'll win the NFC South, but the Rams are better, Eagles are better, Lions are better. Josh Allen with 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. Should Josh Allen still be considered MVP with his performance? Still be in MVP consideration, I should say.
Oh boy, I didn't really.
I know Drake May is having a great year. I know that Matthew Stafford's having a great year. The Bills are the Bills because of that guy.
Yeah.
So I know the stats aren't the same, but I'd still put him pretty high on the list for MVP.
Put him high on the list, but I don't think he's leading Stafford or May right now. He would have to string together a few more good starts before we put him in that conversation, because those other 2 guys have been consistently good, whereas Allen has had a couple of duds.
Yeah. The big game of the weekend, 2 7-2 teams, the NFC West, the Rams and Seahawks. It was a close game, but it was mainly because Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions and kind of looked like he did a year ago when he faced the Rams in that postseason game. And the Rams didn't really capitalize on the turnovers, only 3 touchdowns. Devontae Adams gets his 1,000th reception with a touchdown catch.
Mm-hmm.
But the Rams defense is really good. I think the Seahawks defense is really good. But at this point, is Sam Darnold the same guy that we saw last season with the Vikings, where if it's all set up perfectly for him, he'll be a really good quarterback, but when he faces a blitz or he faces a little more adversity, he's going to look like the guy that we saw a year ago?
I don't want to say that after just one game, not after all he's built up. It's just, I can't say that yet. Like, this is going to be the Sam Darnold that turns into seeing Ghost Darnold just because he had a couple of bad games. I can't do that yet. I'm
going to say no, but I will say that the Rams know the formula of how to beat him. We've seen it consistently now. It was twice last year, the one regular season game against the Rams and the wild card game with the Minnesota Vikings. And now that they're in the same division and they're both competing for the NFC West, I think that the Rams, they definitely know how to dial it up against Sam Darnold. And I think that, that team is really talented in Seattle, and it might be a different story when they play in Seattle in a couple weeks. But yeah, if there's one thing that gives me skepticism when it comes to the Seattle's, long-term success, I think it's definitely because of Sam Darnold. What else have I got listed here? Shador Sanders comes in for the Cleveland Browns. The Browns were kicking the Ravens' ass for a good deal of time defensively, and then they get back in the game. Dylan Gabriel has a concussion. What was the final stat line for Shador? He was like 4 of 16 with a pick. Everyone's defending. I mean, like not everyone. Everyone has a different opinion. Some people think he just sucked. Some people think that he's not been given a good situation with a complement of receivers. But then again, he's only a 5th-round pick, for Christ's sake. Did Shador Sanders have a bad game in his first regular season action, Steven?
I didn't watch it, so I don't know. But yes.
Okay. Yeah, he did. And you know what? That's okay to say. It's not like, I see Josina Anderson and Cam Newton just being like, you can't say that this guy had a bad game. Kevin Stefanski wants him to fail. You think Kevin Stefanski wants him to fail? You really believe that? Like maybe he didn't want to draft him, but you think he wants like it's his fucking football team, for Christ's sake. You think that he wants Shador Sanders to go out there and lose games? Get out of here.
Look, man, whether he had a poor performance or not, I think we saw why him being a top 10 pick was kind of a ludicrous idea in the first place.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. Okay, the Eagles and Lions played each other. It was a windy game, but it was kind of a dud offensively. The Eagles defense is really good. Okay, so 2-part question, and there was a terrible call. I don't know if you saw this one, Steven, but Rock Ya-Sin was called for pass interference that ultimately gave the Eagles the victory. And they tried to force feed A.J. Brown the ball, but it was still kind of the same offensively for them. 2-part question: does the Eagles defense make up for the offensive woes right now with how good they are? And does Dan Campbell cost the Lions too many wins sometimes?
I mean, yes and yes. I think you could say yes to both.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that can actually be a sustainable thing going into the playoffs when these teams in the NFC are going to be scoring a lot. Hell, I don't know what I don't know what the standing. Someone posted already the playoff projections, but I think if the season ended today, the 49ers would be meeting the Rams. I got to go back and look at the standings right now. But say if like the Eagles met the Buccaneers or the Rams or the Lions, like just not great matchups for them. The defense has to be lights out throughout. So I don't know. I don't think that I don't know if back-to-back Super Bowls is in the cards if the offense performs the way they keep on performing.
Yeah, I'll just say that I thought that Dan Campbell had a terrible feel for this game. I understand that he's aggressive as a head coach and has his big balls, and he's a gambling man, but it's effective some games where he goes for it continuously against the Green Bay Packers because his defense is depleted. And then you cost the Lions the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. You cost them, 0 for 5 on Sunday Night Football against the Eagles. It's a defensive, game. And with the wind and the way that the passing offense, was not effective for either team, just play a little more defense, punt the ball. It's okay. As far as the Eagles, I think look at the offense going eventually. I mean, this team a year ago, put up, 44 points in the Super Bowl. So I do think they're capable of that. It's just that the defense is so good. The defense, the way they're able to rush the passer and a lot better now with Jalen Phillips there. I still, wonder about their corner situation opposite Quinyon Mitchell, where Jair Alexander got traded to them, but he, needs to reevaluate if he wants to play football anymore. So I understand that, but I think that they're pretty sound defensively. I do think the offense could eventually, get into gear a little bit. All right, last question for you, Steven. Are the Denver Broncos going to win the AFC West now?
I think so. I do. I think it's too much for the Chiefs to overcome. I didn't expect them to be at a 500 record. But man, that defense just stifled Mahomes. And I think with that defense, they'll take them as far as maybe that Eagles defense will take them. They're almost in the same boat as the Eagles right now. Shoot, even though the Eagles have Saquon Barkley and all pros all over the field, that Broncos defense is a Super Bowl defense, and I think it showed on Sunday. And I do think the Broncos are going to win the AFC West, and I can't believe I'm saying that because their quarterback has been underwhelming at best this year.
I would agree. I think that they did enough in this game. The defense was great. I think that Patrick Mahomes, he struggled against this defense, and Harrison Butker screws him with the missed PAT where the Broncos were able to kick 2 field goals and win the game. But, Sean Payton gets the best out of Bo Nix, and he does enough as well. But yeah, it's clear right now the Broncos are the better team. I'll say this, though. I would not be the least bit surprised if Bo Nix cost them games. Like, the defense is great, but I do wonder about later on in their schedule. There's certain teams that I wonder how the matchup will be. I'm still not buying them to win the Super Bowl by any means because I'm not buying Bo Nix. I think you would have to say that right now the Broncos have to win the division, just how far ahead they are than the Chiefs. But I still never count out the Chiefs. So I'll say the Broncos win the division, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they don't, just because I'm not buying Bo Nix right now. I'm definitely not. But they won that game, and that's impressive. And for the Chiefs coming off of bye and how good we know that Andy Reid's record is coming off of bye, that was a very impressive win, probably the most impressive win of the weekend. All right, real quick before we get out of here, Steven, Thursday Night Football, Bills at the Texans. Bills are favored by 5.5, 43.5 over under.
Yeah, Davis Mills are going to be starting again, I think, because CJ Stroud is still in concussion protocol. Good God, put all your money, all of it, on the Bills. Lay the points with the Bills. And, Davis Mills starting, but I think the Bills can score. I'll take the under.
I'm doing the exact same thing for the same rationale. I think that, Davis Mills, they win that game 16-13. Yeah, like at this point, the Bills have shown they can explode offensively, but I don't know if they will against this defense. But I'm taking them to win the game. I think the Bills defense can do enough in this game to stop Davis Mills. So give me the Bills. I'll lay the points, but I'm definitely going under on that 43.5. All right. Anything else, Steven?
Oh, boy. Damn, not really. I guess that's really good.
All right, everybody. I am flying all day Saturday back to the Bay Area, and then I'm watching football on Sunday, and then I'm getting my ass on a plane at the butt crack of dawn at 5 a.m. to go fly to Houston to see my mom. So we'll be back on Sunday morning. I think we're just going to do a YouTube exclusive, so no podcast for Sunday show, but we might be on like 8 a.m. if that's cool with you, Steven?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so we'll do an early show on Sunday morning before the games kick off. We'll pick the games. We'll recap Thursday Night Football. All right, everybody. We'll see you then. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Thanks to Pat H. Thanks to Mac Van. Thanks to AJ Cruz. Thanks to Rocka Nuera, Ernie One, Edison Zoo, I think it was in here too. Skills, Tacky, Eat Shit. And I apologize for calling you out last year for being in the chat while you're in Hawaii. I did the same exact thing. I should be hanging out with everybody in Hawaii, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So see you guys on Sunday morning. Steven, say what you always say.
Enjoy it, man. Mahalo.
Mahalo.